Hello and welcome to another episode of the Classical Republican. Today, continuing our series on Irish republicanism, we are talking about Eire, the Sinn Féin policy. So it's the federal version of socialism as opposed to a unitary version. Republican Sinn Féin has adopted this policy, though it comes from a time before they even broke off. It has a 32 county vision, so unified. Please see my other videos on Irish republicanism, and please see my video of me reading the text of Eire Nua. So this is the social and economic program of Sinn Féin. It's from 1971, but Republican Sinn Féin broke off later, and they are the only ones, that seem to me, who still support this policy. It is overall socialist, but private ownership will remain on a smaller scale. There are also elements of distributism. So if you don't know what that is, go and see my videos on distributism. Let me read a little bit of the intro here. So we've got it identifies, setting up a democratic socialist republic based on the proclamation of 1916. It talks about cooperative enterprises. We got cooperative or distributist in character. Credit unions will play a big part. The private enterprise, as I said earlier. An independent stand will be taken in foreign policy, which is kind of what they have. Not exactly. I mean, they became a part of the European Union, but I don't know. Most Irish people seem to like the European Union. Especially when it had something to do with reunifying with Northern Ireland, but not so much since Brexit. Here it says they seek to strike a balance between Western individualistic capitalism with its poor and hungry amid plenty on the right, and Eastern Soviet state capitalism, or any of its variations, with its denial of freedom and human rights on the left. So, that's where they're trying to place this ideology, the ideology of this policy. But it also says that constructive criticism and comments will be welcome, because it is realized that as circumstances change, plans of this nature need to be revised and changed. So at the end of the document, there is a 1972 appendix, which contains a draft constitution. So it has a draft charter of rights, and I'm surprised it has no right of association or unions or strikes. So that's very surprising to me. It does have the right to family, secret ballot, and a very Rousseauian right to participate in government that is separate from voting. So that's really interesting. This is a very Republican turn at a time, 1972, when neoliberalism was on the rise and promoting the ideal of participation as only voting in elections. As stated earlier, it is a federal form of government with a 32 county, meaning unified, Ireland vision. There are 4 parliaments let's get along here. I forgot that I had these. 4 parliaments in 4 levels of four parliaments in the 4 historic provinces, a national parliament in Athlone, in the geographic center of Ireland. And there are 4 levels of government: federal, provincial, regional, and local. And so for the federal government, it's a unicameral parliament with 150 deputies, but half are elected by people by the people with proportional representation, and half are elected by the provincial parliaments. And this parliament also elects the president, who is the head of state and the head of government. So he's like the prime minister and the president all in one. The president nominates the government ministers, and they are confirmed by parliament, who come from inside and outside parliament proportionately. It doesn't say what kind of proportion, but it says that they will be proportionately. There'll be a portion that comes from inside and outside. So legislation is proposed by the government, parliament, or the provisional parliaments, or even by referendum, so by the people. Legislation is accepted or ratified by parliament or by referendum, or the people, meaning the people. So I think that's a very Harringtonian principle here. So one to cut the cake and another to choose. The provisional government, in this section, it mostly talks about how the Dáil, Ulad, or the Parliament of Northern Ireland, or the province that will compose mostly Northern Ireland, would be predominantly Protestant and Unionist in opinion, but they would have a fair bit of autonomy because of this arrangement, and they should desire unification. The regional government has councils to oversee economic, social, and cultural affairs. It's unicameral with representatives of the community councils and experts appointed by the provincial governments. And then last but not least, there's the community governments. And those are councils elected by the people through proportional representation. And so overall, it's based on the principle of subsidiary. Again, another distributist element there. And yeah, so this is what they have. I like a few, you can probably tell I like a few of these ideas, like the subsidiary, the the way they ratify legislation and the way it's proposed. So that's really interesting. But what they have nowadays is that they have a constitution that's very good and very Republican, and maybe some of these things can be used to improve upon it. But yeah, so they don't have bicameralism in this, but I think they should stick with bicameralism. So tell me what you think about this policy, and if you're Irish, please, I'd love to hear from Irish Republicans who want to better inform all my viewers on how this policy would impact Ireland. So please subscribe and comment, and until next time, long live the Republic.